After months of ferocious fighting in Changchun and Shenyang, Chiang Kai-shek's army and the city's civilian populations are totally surrounded. Mao, now in his mid-50s, issues the chilling order: turn them into cities of death. His military commander in the campaign is Lin Biao, Mao's most trusted general. Here on the right, shot by a combat cameraman in this recently unearthed 35mm colour film, he reports back to Mao on the success of the order.
The blockade has produced remarkable results and has caused great famine. The civilians are living on leaves and grass. Many have died. On the front line, we have placed a sentry every 50 meters, plus barbed wires and ditches. Any who got out were forced to return. Some knelt in front of our men, begging to be allowed to go. Some put their babies down in front of our troops and turned back. Some hanged themselves there and then.
A communist PLA veteran is witness to the suffering.
When we saw so many people dying of hunger, we weren't shocked. We had been in and out of piles of corpses, and our hearts had been hardened. We were unmoved. But when we moved into the city and saw what it was like, we were devastated. Many of us wept. A lot of us said, we are supposed to be fighting for the poor? Aren't these the bodies of poor people?
Chiang Kai-shek's army is destroyed, suffering over 400,000 dead. At least the same number of civilians die in Changchun alone. (1948). China's civil war has reached a critical stage. Mao knows that to win, he must rely on deserters from Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist army. He orders his field commanders to use loudhailers to offer food, clothing, and a place in the ranks of the People's Liberation Army if they desert the nationalist cause. He also orders that existing nationalist POWs are offered the same deal. His commanders, especially his political commissar, Deng Xiaoping, and his commander-in-chief, Marshal Liu Bosheng, are horrified by the potential risks. But Mao responds in the bluntest of terms.
If you do not do as I ask, we cannot sustain our attacks and victory will slip away. Carry out your orders.
Late December 1948, Kalgan, now known as Jiangjiakou, Hebei province, northwest of Beijing. The PLA storms the city. Kalgan is occupied on December 24th. A series of battles across several provinces is underway, involving over 7 million men, including over 5 million armed peasants, fighting for the PLA. Mao's risky tactic of offering enemy soldiers the opportunity to change sides begins to work. Many of Chiang Kai-shek's men, including some of his senior commanders, begin to surrender. With Mao skulking out of the limelight, General Lin Biao and his fellow officers look on as the PLA makes its triumphant march into Beijing on January 22nd, 1949. From behind the scenes, Mao soon begins to assert the supreme authority of the state and introduces strict censorship laws. By late March 1949, fighting has broken out in Taiyuan in Shanxi province. city falls to the PLA on March 24th. On April 23rd, Nanjing falls. Chiang Kai-shek's government flees south to Guangzhou as the PLA storms Chiang's headquarters. Battles rage all over China as Mao's PLA comes close to total victory. On May 25th, Shanghai falls. The PLA is welcomed into the city as conquering heroes. Zhou Yimin watches as the huge parade passes her home.
We were so excited. Everyone was celebrating. There weren't too many communists in my district, but they had promised an end to the corruption and violence in the city, and everyone wanted that. Unfortunately, at that time, we had no idea what would come with it.
Although it will take several months for the PLA to occupy all the regions of China, the civil war is effectively over. Chiang Kai-shek escapes to the offshore island of Formosa, where he establishes the new Republic of China, now better known as Taiwan. Mao and his Communist Party are the new masters of mainland China and its 550 million people. October 1st, 1949. Mao Zedong arrives in Tiananmen Square in Beijing to declare the formation of the People's Republic of China.